Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Real Talk with Grace and Mercy. Thank you for being here. Just let me know if you can hear me in the chat. This is my first time going live, so there might be some technical difficulties. I see you said you worked the polls today and they just closed. I know I'm ready to see the results. I'm ready. This seemed like this was the longest, shortest election cycle we have ever had. Oh my goodness. Were the polls really crowded? I know when I went to early vote, it took me 2 hours. And I thought that was ridiculous. Okay. Let me try to get my little screens. Get my screens together here. And this little map's supposed to update on its own, but just my luck. It might not do that. Well, hopefully the few people who are in the chat can hear me. Um, I don't care if it's a one person, two person. Hey, Ro Reacts. We just got started. I'm just making sure that people can hear me. This is my first time live, and I'm making sure I can work all this stuff. Oh, yay, you can hear me. Thanks. Well, thank you for joining. I don't care if it's one person, two person, 100 people. Sometimes you want to experience things. You want to be by yourself, but you don't want to be by yourself. It's nice to be virtual. we're gonna watch we're gonna watch these polls as long as I can go. Y'all, I might have set myself up for something. I know good and well that I go to sleep early. At like 7, I was like, man, I should have did like a brunch. Got no business. I know good and well this is my bedtime. But I'm gonna hang in there. Um, I was just saying this is the longest, shortest election. It just feel like it's been going on forever, but at the same time, it feel like it's been real short. It's been an interesting little election cycle. As we go, let me see. I'm gonna be pulling up my little map. This is on the Axios website. I like this map because it's interactive. I can kind of click on the states and see a little bit more. I don't know how well you guys can see the legends that tell you what's going on, but if it's a light, so if it's a dark blue or dark red, that means they're projecting that, it's went blue, it's went red, it's went yellow as independent. If it's a light red, which looks pink to me, or a light blue, which looks Carolina blue or petty blue to me, then they're in the lead, but it hasn't been called yet. And I don't know who's calling the Axios. I don't know exactly who's calling behind Axios. Axios might be doing their own reporting. But I had C-SPAN up. Oh, this is Fox. I like them because they don't have no sound. Sometimes I don't want to hear all that talking. But I know if you're watching on C-SPAN, the Associated Press is making the C-SPAN is reporting the calls that the Associate Press is making. It's all of it's all connected in some type of way. They're independent, but then they're all connected too. One thing I will say about C-SPAN, and I forgot this, I haven't watched it on C-SPAN in a while. C-SPAN does live call-ins, and these people are like real people, unscripted. If you get a chance to stop by and see what they're doing on C-SPAN, um, it's kind of funny sometimes. As of right now, as of right now, they're reporting that. Let me make sure. Trump is in the lead with 101 electoral votes, and Harris has the 49 electoral votes. You need 270 to win. I think I used to watch this on Fox the most to me, and I was gonna watch it on News Nation, but I don't know what they're doing right now. A lot of the Fox people that were fired after the 2020 election, a good amount of them went over to News Nation from that decision desk, like Chris Starwall. And what I like about him, he's really good about explaining certain things you see as the polls roll in. And I haven't heard anybody explain much of it this election cycle, but I know that votes are counted all at once, but not all at once at the same time. So as these exit polls close, some of these polls are what's coming in real time, what the reporting is from people who voted today. But then some states, maybe they already started processing their mail-in ballots, or maybe they wait till after X amount of polls are reported before they start processing mail-in ballots. And so you'll hear terms like red mirage, blue wave, stuff like that. And then you may see a state going one way and then it switches to go another way, because that depends on which votes are counted when, not, the demographics shift regarding what party predominantly does mail-in ballots or what party predominantly does in-person ballots. I think now we're seeing that Republicans more so do the in-person, and Democrats do a little bit more mail-in. And of course, military ballots always come in later to after. That's just how it's always been. It used to be that LC, I think Arkansas just flipped on the map. So I think we're going to see a red mirage this election cycle. Let's see what's going on, because I want to see. No, they still have. Oh, I see. So what happens is the polls close, and then the counties or the precincts, voting precincts, the counties, all the polls might close and report at this one time, but different counties get completed. Their counts gets completed at different times. So you might have a group of, historically Democrat counties come in. And so that's a boost in the numbers for Harris. Or likewise, you might have a group of predominantly Republican precincts get tallied all at once. And then, so that'll show a boost in Trump. This is normal. Now we're going to have to do a better job. Everybody, I'm not a reporter. I guess I'm trying to be up here on YouTube, but I guess we're going to have to start doing better as reporters and stuff. Hi, Micah Bird. Make sure, let me know if I'm pronouncing your names right. Polls just closed at 11, so they're still being counted. That is right. and they're going to keep being counted as they roll in. Y'all remember the Democratic Party used to be part of the South and the Republican Party was the North. Before the gate switch, the numbers will start to shift. And Ro Reacts, I think we're gonna see either one of two things in the next, I say two super, thanks Micah. I say in the next two presidential elections. So oh my sis. Hey sis. Y'all, this is Sinitra. Sinitra, you're not on your Black Not Blue channel? I want to make you Sinitra, it's okay if I make you a mod. I don't have no mods. And at least I know you'll know what I'm doing. Until somebody get. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support. Yeah, I'm just chilling too. And no, this is past my bedtime. And to set up here and to hype myself up to do this live, and almost went to sleep at 7. Okay, I'm gonna mod you. Y'all, this is my sis. Y'all gonna have to go check out her channel. Both channels. I'm gonna say go check out both channels. Get y'all some different perspectives. I would say both channels have not your normal stuff. You gonna hear some real talk on both of her channels, and you're gonna like it too. Because sis is real. Okay, Saditra, I'm figuring out how to do moderationing up in here. And no, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Pin. Add mod. Gotcha. Okay, sis, you should have that wrench now. Y'all, my sis don't play by me, so it is what it is. She got the power. Oh, Rorex, look at me. See, I done completely lost my train of thought. I think in the next, I'm going to say 2 presidential election cycles, so that's 8 years, a few things are going to happen. The parties are going to look drastically different platform-wise, what they stand for, how they talk to voters, how they reach out to people, the targeted demographics in each party. That's kind of a given, but I think or we're going to have more parties. We're going to have more parties because we saw before this election, there was already a backlash in the Democratic Party about what is sometimes seen or called the ultra liberal agenda. So there was already an issue within the Democrat Party and old school West Virginia Democrats. This is another word they say, blue dogs or something like that. Democrats who were saying, hey, the party's going a little too far, and we're not going to have a place to be. Well, then start primaries, and we find out that Trump, yes, I'm with the more parties. Well, come the primaries, and we find out that Trump is looking like he's going to complete his little hostile takeover of the Republican Party. And now the Republican Party is figuring out, hey, we've had this platform for all these years. We've honed our platform. We've tried to include more people. And now the platform kind of seems to be, we just going to support Trump. And that's not going to work for everybody. Just like both parties have a range of people, ultra far right, ultra far left. That don't work for everybody. And I just don't understand how much longer we're going to go on with just that two-party system of saying, oh, it's a big tent. It's a big tent. We need more parties. It's just as simple as that. We need more parties. We need more voices. We need more representation, diversity, whatever you want to call it. We are going to have to get to a place of having more parties. And then and in the Discord. Oh, thank you so much, Sinitra. Sinitra, you've been telling me about this Discord. Now I'm gonna have to figure out a way to I'm gonna have to do better when it comes to technologies and try to embrace some of these new things now that I call myself having a channel. I come over to Discord and see what it is to see. But yeah, we gonna have to have more. We're gonna have to have more parties. That's as simple as that. And I think with more parties comes money starts to spread thin. Can't put all your eggs in one basket. I know they don't call it bribery, but you can't put all your little bribery eggs in one basket. More parties means more variables. You think you the big kid on top, but what if these two parties over here start to say, "Oh, we gonna stick together this a one time," and then vote you out? We're going to need more parties, and we see that a little bit in the legislative branch, where more. I think it's been primarily Democrats have become independent now. Hey, Quiet Storm 87, thank you very much for coming over to support from the royal family. But you're starting to see more. You're starting to see more. Not just saying I'm an independent, even though I really run on a blue ticket or I run on a red ticket, but you're starting to see like senators, congressional peoples. I was about to say congressmen, but it's congresswomen too. You're starting to see more of them say I'm independent and I'm running as an independent on my ticket. And that's just, but we need more parties. I remember when I was in high school, one of my teachers told me that he was a registered independent, but they would only send him Democrat primary stuff. And he was like, either send me both parties, or if there's nobody in the independent primary, just don't send me anything. How you just send me one somebody's stuff? But that's how little we thought of that third party. So more and more people are coming around to the third party for independent party, but that's not enough for me. I still say we need more parties. Typically, my answer to everything is more options, not less options. More voices, such as iron sharpens iron, man sharpens man. We need to hear everybody's voice. And let me check in on this little map. If anybody's new in the chat, I was just saying I have this little Axios map pulled up. I don't know if Axios is reporting from somebody else or if Axios is doing their own reporting. I mentioned earlier that C-SPAN, look, Illinois just went. I mentioned earlier that if you're watching it on C-SPAN, C-SPAN is reporting Associated Press numbers. And that happens with a few of them. I want to say Axios is reporting on numbers. I know app is so cool, and I really like it because it's kind of interactive and it makes me feel like, oh, I really got some going up here on this little live. Let's see. They flipped. Okay. So we saw this a little bit earlier, maybe about 15 minutes ago with Arkansas. It's red, and it had flipped light blue for a little bit as the votes roll in by precinct. So if you get a maybe you get like a few precincts that they've closed their numbers and the exit polls are coming in, and those precincts are predominantly what have you. That gives a bump in whatever party that precinct might be, the majority of the votes were. And so you might see them flip a few times. The only thing that kind of concerns me about this is it is dark red, which the legend says that means that it's reported as a win, and then it flipped to the light blue. Won't y'all keep it light red to report it as lead, and so it flips to light blue? That was the only little weird thing about that one. Illinois. And I'm predicting that we're going to have a red mirage this election cycle. So you're going to see um, a wave of red before the blue votes or blue precincts, blue, right here is what I'm talking about right here, gets reported. Last time, I think it happened the same last time. Was there a red mirage or a blue mirage? Yes. Last time there was a red mirage, and it was kind of consistent throughout because the majority of the mail-in ballots last time, the Democrat had the lead in mail-in ballots. Years before, Republicans did a little better with mail-in ballots because it used to be a lot of retirees, vacationees, stuff like that. Well, it is what it is. Hi, Aries Sun. Thank you for supporting me. Benita Sarvis. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining me. Anybody in the chat, I call myself having a little background music. If the background, oh yeah, I got it right. Ooh. If the background music is too loud, let me know, because I know as a listener of YouTube, I know sometimes we don't always realize how loud it is. If it's too loud, I'll turn it down. If it's still too loud, I'll turn it off. Well, we are happy to have you here. Hopefully, Kia Mia, hello. Thank you for joining. Hopefully, I hopefully I last a good bit into the evening, at least to the point where it looks like it's gonna be called again. I know I like to go to sleep. I don't know what I was thinking. Y'all gonna say it ain't that late. This is school night. It's late. So what's going on with this part of the map is this is just time zoning. This is just time zoning. It is still, I think here would be 4 hours ahead of East Coast. So it is not quite 5 yet here, or maybe just turned 5 or something like that. Y'all tell me if anybody is good with their time zone conversions, but see, I might be able to get it on my phone. Yeah, it's just about to turn 6 in Los Angeles, I think. So that's what's going on here, which is just time zoning. I think we have somebody in the chat who had worked the polls, and they said their polls closed at 7. Does every state the polls close at 7, or is that just is that state by state? Yep, it's about to be 6. I'm late but early, I guess. Charlotte. Whoop whoop. Hi, Sandra P. Jen Extra. I know that's right. Thanks for being here. Oh, this is Anitra, I see you handling business. You got it. I know you know. I know you know what's going on. Sandra P, that's funny you say you late but early. That's how I felt this whole presidential election. When I first got here, I said this Georgia received extension due to threats. Ooh, y'all, please vote and get home. Um, that's just the world we live in now. Vote and get home. I didn't mind early. But Sandra P, that's how I felt this whole presidential election. I felt like I was just telling somebody earlier in the chat, this has been the longest, shortest presidential election. Um, it feels like this been going on forever, but at the same time, it really hasn't. Hi, Iron Butterfly. Oh, thank you for the subscription and thank you for joining us. The chat is y'all's. We do not have to stay on. We don't have to necessarily stay on politics all night. You know, we can dabble around a little bit, little hot topics. I don't know much, but I'll try. I used to do this election party, and when I was in law school, and it was just fun. You know, this today is over. Today is done, and everybody can go back to like, you know, other stuff on TV and watching other stuff. I promise. I politics all day. I work in it, but elections are can't be tiring too. Sometimes, especially we've had very contentious elections and not so nice language in politics. Sometimes elections can be draining. So you know, we know that even though we're going to get the projected numbers tonight, that is not the final numbers. We know there has to be certification. We know that military ballots always, you know, roll into a certain time frame. We know that whatever candidate loses, they have lawyers ready to go to do their challenges and recounts if it's, you know, not exactly 50% and this and that. So we know it's still a process, but you know, very much election night sometimes it's a we own to something different, a different process. Yes, thank you, sis. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe and like. What princess? There's a little baby. Oh, that's right, Quiet Storm. There's a little baby. Little baby. Sandra P saying my anxiety, yes. It can be nerve wracking. Look, y'all gonna throw tomatoes at me, but that's how I feel every football season because I'm not a football person. It's time football season start. I just want it to be over. Everywhere you go is footballs. I bought a box of cheeses. It's football on the box. I have a fire stick, and I told my fire stick not to make all that loud noise. You know how the previews roll across. I said, you know, I told it not to, but when football season roll up, here come the loud noise. You hear the game plan. I didn't ask for that. You know, sometimes it just be like that. Sometimes. Not put the baby on payroll. Let that baby talk to them clients. She said she got stuff. She got stuff she wants to talk about. Okay. Let's see if we've had any changes to the map. What's Louisiana? What's taking y'all so long to report y'all stuff? Suspicious. Um. Now remember, North Carolina is having is you know they're reporting their numbers and stuff like that, but they've had some issues. The Asheville way, um, where the hurricane hit real bad, flooding. There was early voting going on Was there early voting? Somebody told me mail-in ballots were coming in. I don't think it was early voting, but I think there were like mail-in ballot stations that had been wiped out, you know, from the hurricane and stuff like that. So they have to, people have to be able to check and see, was it counted provisional ballot. So North Carolina would be one I'm looking at to whatever is projected, if it were to change in the days after, that would not surprise me. Um, uh, a lot of transportation issues coming out of those Asheville precincts. There's a bridge. There's a bridge that collapsed, and then a part of the highway that was also ripped up, maybe tornado or something like that. So at one point, there are places that you could only get in by air, like helicopter. So, those precincts, even maybe if they had the infrastructure to run their voting like normal, then the ballots still have to, when they're hand counted, they have to go, at wherever they have to go. So North Carolina is one that if whatever is projected tonight, or, this percentage of votes are in, so we feel comfortable projecting the race to this person. If that were to change in the coming days, that just wouldn't surprise me. Just because, the election's not done in a silo. Life still happens. Life still happens. We are voting, and we like our voting, but life is still lifing. Send up the bubbles. Oh yeah, the engagement bubbles. Sis, it is so weird being on YouTube from this side. I'm used to just doing I'm used to just being in the chat laughing at people sending up bubbles. So seeing it from this side, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Turn it in. Well, thank you for joining us, and I feel you on that. It is it is sleepy time. So did you? Yes, it is completely different. And I don't go live. I usually do. It says so on YouTube. It says that I did live, but I didn't. I pre-recorded it, and then StreamYard sends it in as a whatever they do to YouTube. It comes across as a live. That ain't my business, but yes, I don't know how you do live life. I like pre-recorded life. Oh, we got some action on the map. Got some action on the map. Okay, y'all went to Trump with numbers. Okay, South Dakota. South Dakota. Now, I think this map does a good job now that we got a little bit more in of seeing. So, there's the popular vote, and then live is a real, you ain't lying, in a hustle. You ain't lying. Y'all live life people. Oh, y'all built different. Oh, y'all different. I did a collab with my YouTube coach one time, but she ran everything. I didn't. Noble Genius? That is so cute. Hey, family. Thank you for joining. So this map, now that we got a little bit more action on some of these states, I think this map does a good job of showing you the electoral college. And you can see just comparatively, like look at Oklahoma and the amount of little squares compared to the squares in Texas. And then you can see some states like Maine doesn't do winner takes all with their electoral votes. They split it proportionally, which I think, I don't mind the electoral college, but I think the proportional voting is a little bit better than the winner takes all. But it is what it is. Divine, hey Divine, thank you for joining us. Let's see, still nothing out here. Wyoming, how y'all reported numbers still say 0 though? Oh. That's Montana. Okay, this one. Oh well, I don't know. Watching so much tonight is exciting. Yeah. It is exciting. It is. I don't know. I like it. I like it, but at the same time, I am ready for it to be over. We can move on. But it is very exciting. Earlier I was telling the chat, I have the YouTube open, but I think I have it on Fox because they're not talking. And sometimes you don't want to hear all that talking. You just want to see what's going on. But if you ever watch the election on C-SPAN, so C-SPAN has been taking live C-SPAN has been taking live callers. They're reporting through the Associated Press, but C-SPAN takes live callers, and not campaign managers, not poll workers. Like, these are just people, just regular people call in, and it gets pretty. I mean, these people are unscripted, just talking. So out of all the stations, C-SPAN's a kind of good one to watch if you want a little action. Bianca Edwards. See, I'm looking in the StreamYard chat for Bianca. I don't see Bianca, but hey, Bianca, thank you for joining. Happy Tuesday. Tanisha, you make sure you put your links. I think if you're a mod, you can put links. You make sure you put your channel links in the chat. So anybody that didn't come from your channel can go over there. They can go over there because we gonna need a break. Break. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. One thing they are saying, and this is C-SPAN reporting. No, I didn't hear this from C-SPAN. Tonight is batch usage. Okay, thank you. Okay. Maybe next time. Okay. Well, one thing a couple of the news stations were reporting, I think I saw it on maybe ABC, NBC, one of them. I'm not particular. I'm gonna let y'all know I'm not particularly tied to necessarily ABC or NBC. However, if I do not like cable, because they gave me 1 billion channels and I only watch like 5. Those stations stream their news live on YouTube every single day, and you get full programming. Lori Bell Carter, hello, and thank you for joining us. And you get pretty much all the programs they stream, but it was on one of them that now their news is a little, sometimes they get a little too much pop culture, a little less of what I consider news, but they're okay. They're reporting that, so this whole election cycle, people have been saying the polls, whatever polling and focus groups they've been doing, have been saying that, Roe v. Wade was a top priority, immigration, And they're still saying that, but now as people are leaving the polls and they're talking to people live in the moment, they're saying a lot more people are saying direction of the country. And that could go both ways, right? That could be, you know, we think this party's taking it too far left, or that can be I don't think the concern would be if we're talking about the Republican Party that they're taking it too far right, maybe because I feel like if they're saying direction of the country, but if that voter was trying to critique the Republican Party, they might be talking about like processes, I don't know, uh, democracy, that type of direction to the country. Otherwise, I feel like they would have said Roe v. Wade. I think so. This that's what I think. But it could go either way. That could mean a variety of stuff. But they, instead of what it has been when they were doing the focus groups and not catching people, coming directly out of the polls, people were naming issues. People that are coming out of the polls on election day are saying direction of the country. And again, that can go all types of ways. All types of ways. But like we were saying earlier, when the live first started, we need more parties. And that's where I'm at with it. We need more. It's even three ain't gonna get it. Three ain't gonna three ain't gonna get it. We need more parties because voices and viewpoints and opinions gets lost if it's just three. Let's say it's just three. DV, hello, thank you for joining. I missed somebody. Rochelle, hello, thank you for joining us. We need bubbles. Oh, I had a Powerpuff Girl flashback. But even so really we know that we're dealing with two dominant parties. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument I'm going to try to make, that we have three active parties. That's not enough. Viewpoints get lost in that many people, in that much, because if you have whatever the blue party is, red party, independent party, at the end of the day, you do have to create a platform. We're going to overall stand for this. Now, we know that everybody in that party doesn't stand for that, but the party has to define itself in some type of way. Then people's voices get lost. You get viewpoints gets lost, and you don't see some of those other viewpoints. This is Anitra said, yes, very true. We need more parties. Yeah. Whereas if you had way more parties, now you might have three parties who they're healthy parties. They tend to vote this way, or these are. But then you can see it, a whole picture of everybody. You start to see, oh, this party's main concern is this, like the Green Party. They don't care who, what, which way, red, blue, or what. We're concerned about the environment, and that is what we're concerned about. They might tend to vote blue. They might tend to vote red, whatever. But the point is, you see in their totality that we are concerned about this. This is the issue that we want to focus on. We want to do research on this issue. When we bring bills, we want to make sure the bills are concerned about this. When people give donations to our party and this and that, this is the issue that we're primarily focused about. You send money over here, it's going to Green Party, conservators, environmental stuff. That's a good example. Now, we know the Green Party is not the most, I would say they're a thriving party. It's just the way our party system is set up. They get bounced out by the big two. So, but yeah, that's as simple as that. I stand by that, and I think it's gonna have to come. We can't keep on going how we going. Okay, looks like we got a lot more action in the map. Now, remember, the path to win is 270 electoral votes is the magic number. Trump has 177. He need 100 more. Now, y'all see it. Y'all see the map now. According to the legend on this map, if it's light, if it's dark blue or dark red, they're reporting that as a projected win for that party. If it's the Carolina blue or petty blue or light blue or the light red, which looks like pink or peach to me, they're just reporting that as in the lead. So, in my mind, if they're in the lead as we're getting precincts in, that lead could shift. Um, there's a reason why they're not reporting it as a win yet. I know sometimes it's, see, okay, so what's this state? Just New Mexico? Yeah, New Mexico. So only 1.6% of the expected votes have been reported. So they have what is reported. It looks like Trump is in the lead, but because the percent of total votes reported is so low, they're only showing that as a lead. Okay, let me try to find one. Because this became an issue last election. Maybe not. Okay, so North Dakota. They are reporting North Dakota is Colorado only got 7% reported. Let me find Colorado. Yeah, and they're still saying that as a lead of what they. Oh, that's a pretty from what they got reported in. Oh, Colorado. I guess Colorado would be a good example too. I just remember, and I'm gonna use North Dakota just because it's 4.3, and Colorado is another good example. This happened in Kansas, 39%. This happened in Arizona last election cycle. They had less than 50% of the um, total votes being reported, but it was reported as a win for Biden. And the Fox decision team called it for Biden. And why'd you call it? 50% of the votes aren't even in. Yes, but we know by polling that the whatever is coming in, it's rule votes, it's this, it's that. We can project that those votes aren't going to shift the lead, which ended up happening. They did 1 million recounts and this and that, and that's what happened. So sometimes, I guess Georgia would be a good example. We know New Mexico 2%. We know in Georgia, if you report like the major cities, like if you're reporting Atlanta and Savannah, it might look one way, but there's a lot of rural places in Georgia too. And even though those votes might not be enough to necessarily shift the bigger metropolitan areas, they could, all of them together, if they all go the same way. But usually, just by polling, you kind of know where they're going to go. So it is a numbers game. Mexico 2%. That's a little what's going on in New Mexico, Missouri? See, now y'all don't make me look like the silly American. Why can't I find it? Here we go. Iowa. Let me find Iowa. Y'all know the little elf. This is hat. This is little nose and belly, and then Louisiana is the boot. Okay, Iowa. Minnesota is 1%. Yeah, Minnesota. These are gonna be real slow. Just time zoning. I already know this is gonna feel like it's creeping in. This is just is. Look, Texas. Texas got 57.6% of their votes coming in. Now with Texas, another thing I like about this map. Now with Texas, I am looking at this Senate seat. Well, I might be looking at the Senate seat, depending on what my internet do. I don't think we're gonna do the YouTube one. I think we're just gonna do this one. Okay. Well, I was gonna look at the Senate seat in Texas because when Texas, it looks like it is. It looks like Trump is gonna win Texas. They're reporting Trump as a win, but that Senate seat was blue. Oh my goodness! Come on now. Where's my map? Okay. Okay, now it's red again. This this is usually not a close race. Usually not very close. I didn't hear much about him, but these two were very much tied. Um, South Carolina had the same thing happen last Senate, not Tim Scott's Senate seat, but Lindsey Graham's Senate seat. And they're reporting for North Carolina that so North Carolina, Trump is in the lead, but they're not. And I think we talked about this. There's a couple of things going on in North Carolina, but the governor's race, I think they've called that for Josh Steen or Stein. I think it's Stein. Yeah, yeah, they called that for Stein. And now keep in mind, it's still there's still projections on election night. We won't know the final vote. Um, they put up the dates, like the actual days from each election from 2008, showing the day we actually know the day everything comes in, military ballots and all of that. Some states have a right to cure your ballot, which I sometimes like, but sometimes don't. And again, North Carolina, they're going to have one, whatever party loses, they have their lawyers ready to go for the challenges, making sure that, these precincts weren't over 50, recount this, da da da, da 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 da. But also, North Carolina has infrastructure issues with reportings and stuff like that. Sandra P. Gen Extra breaking records here in North Carolina, beat 2020 already despite the hurricane. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, did anybody vote like in person today? What did your guys's like what was your wait times? What did the polls look like? I know it took me 2 hours to early vote in person. And I was looking sick too. Didn't bring snacks, drinks, didn't bring nothing. And I don't always like staring at my phone in public because you gotta have your head on a swivel. Um, I don't know if anybody have young people in your life, strongly, have a gentle conversation with them about always looking down on their phone. So sure that's brutal. Brutal. It's true. It's true. I've always wondered about how I just see people looking down on their phone in public. If it's not so crowded and I'm somewhere, sometimes maybe if I'm in a waiting room, sometimes I might can do something on my phone, but I have to have my senses alert. I cannot be I have to be aware of I can deal with that phone. I get to the house. I have to be aware of my surroundings. Y'all, if y'all got young people in y'all life, just kind of talk to them one day and tell them, hey, you looking down at that phone sometime, you in public. It's a lot of people in public. The public is in public. You know, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Okay, we got a little bit more. We got a little bit more. What is taking New Mexico so long to get this stuff in? Well, making sure that people who's supposed to be voting. I think that's what might be going on. Texas already said what they gonna do to the stuff. Uh, mhm. Delaware, that doesn't surprise me. I don't. Oh, I need to stop. They cheating. They cheating in New Mexico. Um, it do seem because they've been at like that little 10% for a minute. Maybe it'll bump. Even though this updates every couple of seconds and this and that, I think it's like every 30 minutes polls roll in. So, and I know timing. I know there's 4 hours. Three. This is four. I think this is three behind East Coast. So they're still actively voting. I think they would be. Yeah, I think they would still be actively voting. So I'm gonna give them a little bit. Let me check some of these itty bitty little states here. New Jersey, Maryland. They had reported early. Now I'm looking at this map and I know that some of these states. Oh no, that's dark red still. Oh, I wonder what. Oh, someone earlier said that Georgia did have record numbers, um, and they had a whole bunch of threats and security issues. So Georgia might take a little longer. Y'all, this might not be as long of an election night as I really thought. Um, this might be good. And like I said, I'm gonna go as long as I can go. When I set this little election night watch party up, I really had high hopes for myself. But then today around 6, I was looking around like, it's a school night. What decisions am I making with my life? I'm trying to eat grapes because I told myself not to eat candy. It's hard out here. Now, did anybody have any interesting ballot initiatives on their ticket? I know we had one, and granted, it's already illegal, but it was like, should it be illegal for non-citizens to vote? Which, of course, is already illegal federally, but some states do allow that in local elections. So I assume that's what our state was asking, even though it's illegal federally. That's still important for local elections, and that's also still how people vote in those types of ballot initiatives across the country. Still sends a strong message about the type of policing that people want. All that to say, one, local elections are important, and those local ballot initiatives are pretty important too. And I'm watching this man. They showing the man who won in North Carolina give his little speech on C-SPAN. They don't need to show the whole speech. I don't know. Maybe if this wasn't a presidential race year, but dude, we don't need to see the whole speech. We needed to see him say, giving honor to God and thank you. And then we could have cut back to the rest of what was going on C-SPAN. I don't know what that was about. C-SPAN is funny though. All the dramas. Oh, now they're showing other. I'm assuming these are gubernatorial candidates. As someone who's worked as a campaign manager before and on campaigns. Hello, Ashley. Thank you for joining us. So, I subscribe and like number 42. Woo-hoo. Was Jackie Robinson 42? I think it was. Good like number 2B. Y'all, I've worked as a campaign manager before. I've worked on several campaigns. If anybody in this chat is going to work with a candidate or run as a candidate yourself, Devin, the best thing you could do is put your candidate in front of a camera like before they're actually in front of a camera. See what their makeup, even the men's, see how their makeup and hair and stuff like that move before they actually go like in public in front of a camera. I know that's trivial. People might say, you don't need to be worried about stuff like that. Well, if you are a campaign and you don't have it in the budget or whatever it is to worry about stuff like that, fine. But if you do, you should put your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward. Every time I hear Jackson, I think of the Dancing Dolls. And that announcer, I can't think of his name. I wonder what that man doing now. It's okay. Let me know if you run into any bells. remember, and I know I'm not making this up. Florida did not used to be a winner take all state. They used to split theirs up too. And I would, well, I can't remember when it changed, but they were proportional. I guess most states are, I think the trend is going toward the winner take all and not the split. I like the split. Y'all have got to watch C-SPAN with these live call-ins. So I'm kind of trying to keep my eye on C-SPAN too, because there becomes a point where one candidate gets enough electoral votes that it's not quite the 270 yet, but what is left, even if the other person got everything that was left, it would not amount to the 270 or something like that. And there's no path to victory. And then, one will concede or one won't concede, or then the challenges start flying, and, and the lawyers, we make our money. Yummy, yummy, money, money. But I'm kind of watching it only because, and I know, this is a big old number with 54 electoral college votes. I know that these are some high numbers here, but this is a big number too. This is 178. Kind of big. I don't know. Since I'm gonna keep it on this little electoral college view for a little bit. Ultimately, that is the deciding factor anyway. Okay, so with Georgia, they're saying on C-SPAN that with 75% of the votes in, it is too close to call definitively. Right now, Donald Trump is in the lead. Oh, but it looks like um they just got reporting in, so that lead is thinning. Yeah. So Donald Trump has 51.1% of the vote, and never mind, they flipped the map, so I can't see a percentage. Okay, Donald Trump has 52. This is Florida. No, I don't want Florida. I want Georgia. Okay, 52.4, and Harris has 46.9. Nisa, am I saying your name right? Nisa Najib? I know I said that wrong, but thank you so much, Nisa, for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, Georgia. Someone earlier was saying that Georgia had record numbers of people who turned out for the polls, so that's good. But there also were a lot of election threats. I do know Georgia had a lot of threats to their poll workers, so they had to increase security, which is good, but that also slows things down because hey, the guard has to be with you to walk from A to B and this and da. So Nisa is right. Najib. Look, what's the long E supposed to sound like? what sound? What sound does the long E make? Okay, yay! Woo. How's about to pull out some Schoolhouse Rock? Like, what sound do long E make? I know it's a vowel, but what all sounds it make? Yeah, I think Georgia gonna take a minute to call it. Don't laugh at me. Long E is the E sound. Okay. Yeah, my brain completely timed out. I was like, long E. And then I was like, E. Then I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think Georgia gonna take a minute to do a definitive projection. Obviously, the votes still come in, military, yada yada yada. But Georgia had some fights with that man about lying on election people. And with the threats and the this, and Georgia is gonna dot their T's and cross their I's. And yes, I know I say it backwards. I say it backwards every time. But I think Georgia's gonna take a long time to do the project. Yeah. Yes, as they said, even with the 77% reporting, it's still. I don't know if they're saying it's too close to call, or if they're saying that what is left to report could flip at any time. As I don't think it's too close to call. I just think that what hasn't come in yet could go either way. So they don't want to call it. They can call it. They can. I don't think they're gonna call it. I saw a report that the threats are coming from Russia troll farms. I wouldn't be surprised. It seemed like to me they would have some more to worry about what we got going on over here. But I'm not surprised. That's another thing. In a lot of ways, the internet and digitizing things makes things more efficient for us when it comes to elections. And so that's good. But then the internet and digitizing also makes things, not just elections, but in general, less secure. Like even just working. It's good that we can work from home. It's good that we can work anywhere. We can converse with people across different countries and stuff like that. But on the flip side, digitization and the internet tends to make things less secure. So it's a double-edged sword. Let me flip it back to the map to see if that color has changed yet. Yeah, no. Yeah, they gonna take a minute to call Georgia. This one, I understand what's going on. I think that they're gonna take a minute to call that one, and then if that were to change, Kansas just flip. Sis, do you remember if it was dark blue or light blue before? I want to say it was light blue, which that I understand. So I get if they flip from light to light because that's just reporting they're in the lead. My issue is if you know there's a possibility that it could flip, why are you reporting it in the win on some of these? Now, the only one that did that so far, I think, was Arkansas. Yeah. Arkansas had flipped and flipped back, which is fine. But if you know it was light blue. Okay, I can deal with the light blue. I can deal with that. I just don't get that if you know that what is left to be reported is could possibly change it, then don't report it as a win. Just keep it as a lead because you know that you don't know. I'm not sure what that's about. Which leads me to believe that I think it is Axios is reporting their own exit polls. I'm pretty sure. Which is fine. I mean, keep everything in house, but I don't know. I just wouldn't do nothing like that. If I think there's a possibility, a strong possibility that hey, it could stay the same, but it could also flip. It's not necessarily guaranteed. Just keep it lead. Don't report it as win. Oh, you just type in what they reporting on. Y'all got to get into C-SPAN. I forgot that C-SPAN did this. C-SPAN takes live callers, just regular people calling in talking. Just, just y'all know how be everybody in here been on YouTube. Y'all know how I get people just be wanting to talk to somebody. C-SPAN just got these people talking. You know something? Now, I do just want to take a praise break for a minute and tell everybody one thing. I don't know how everybody believe, but I know I got a relationship with Jesus Christ. And so at the end of the day, for me, that's who's in charge, no matter what the polls say. And for anybody that, believes something different, I'm sure you feel the same way about wherever you align to. So for anybody who see this whole block right here was light blue. So I know that this election has been what it has been, up and down, the longest, shortest election. At the end of the day, these are just people. These are just people. Yeah, it is nerve wracking. It is nerve wracking, and I don't I most certainly don't advocate for nobody to be so heavenly minded they not any earthly good. But sometimes you have to bring things back to perspective. At the end of the day, this is an election on earth, and that's where it's gonna stay. I'm just here for a moment. This is not my final home. So I would be I would be not being me if I didn't mention that somewhere while we're watching these little numbers come in. Because it can be. Yeah, I like it. Earlier I had mentioned I was saying about football. I'm not a football person. Every year come football season, the best thing football season can do for me is go. It's football stuff everywhere. Everywhere football, here, there, and everywhere. I bought a box of Cheez-Its. I see football. I had Amazon Fire TV. And then they got the loud foot. And I told Amazon, don't play no loud noises. I don't like that. But come football season, Amazon feel that they don't listen to me because football is more important. If a game is on, I turn on my Fire Stick and all I hear is football. It's one of those things. Football is all fine and dandy, but sometimes you want it to go. Or at least me. I think I might be the only one in the South that want football to go. But that's how the election can feel sometimes. We want to be, active citizens, particularly presidential elections. We want to be active citizens. We want to get involved. We want to hear other people's opinions. We want to give our opinions. Um, we want to be concerned about the world we live in and a good citizen. But sometimes, yeah, it do get to the point where you just it's over. It's over. Let it be done and let me go on by my day to day life. Sometimes it's like that. That's okay. That's okay. We are in it together. Yeah, that's all we can be is in it together. Um, I know these people on C-SPAN. They got calling in funny. Bridget J, hello. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so in Los Angeles, it's like 10 minutes till 7 in LA. So I'm assuming that their polls probably close at 7 too, maybe. So in about 15-20 minutes, we should start getting this. We should start getting some of this. And also, I don't know if anybody I had to turn off the news. Keep me posted. I'm watching cartoons with grandbaby. That's right. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take a break. And I'm hoping that it's looking like it's not going to be as long of an election night as I had thought it was going to be. A lot of the news stations have scheduled lives for 11:30. Now I don't know I'm gonna be here for 11:30, but they have scheduled lives for 11:30s for one candidate or another. So it looks like they're thinking that they'll be able to project a final projection by 11:30. Um, I don't know. It's my fault that I gave myself high hopes talking about, oh, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to do a virtual election watch party. But I am so happy to have every last one of you guys here. One of the things I missed about the pandemic, it was not a good time, but it was nice to, like, sometimes you want to be by yourself, you want to be in your home, but you want to be with other people too. In these like virtual spaces and YouTube spaces and virtual parties and stuff like that. I thought sometimes that was nice. It's not for everybody, but sometimes I want to be with people, but I really just want to be in my house. Glad to be. I love to support my sisters. So thank you so much. Hopefully my internet don't do me dirty. I'm still interested in this little Senate seat here because That was a close Senate seat for Texas. Bubbles! Right, hit that engagement button. Send up those bubbles. Send up those bubbles. Ooh, what's going on here? Oh, they can call it. Now, see, now this one, like here, the man is at 68.6%. Any updates to electoral vote? Hold on, let me go back. I don't know why this is striped, but this man is at 60.6% in the lead of the vote and 72.7% of expected voters reported. Now they can call that. Let's see. Any updates to electoral vote? Here it says 99 electoral votes. Trump has 188. And as of now, apparently this is still, there's a pathway to victory. I was saying earlier that there comes a point where whatever is left, even if the opposing party were to get all of what was left, it still would not get them to, the threshold of to beat the other person in the electoral votes. And they call that, there's no path. There's no longer a pathway to victory. And then that person usually comes out and concedes. And even if they do their challenges and stuff like that, that's a given. That's going to happen no matter what. They'll usually come out and concede. I think there is still a path. And I'm only saying that because California does have 54 electoral votes. And some of these places have a few big ones too. And, not all of these light shaded races are official. So I guess they're saying that. So right now, I guess there's still a path to victory. And if I remember correctly, it was like this. Not Hillary Clinton's election. So that would have been 2016. And she knows she was a lazy campaigner. I'm not surprised at how that turned out, but that's we gonna move on. Gonna move on. But the 2020 election, it looked like this for a little bit. And I feel like there's another election in my lifetime that also, it took a while. It took a while for it to get close, at least for what was reported. We only have what was reported. Y'all, if I was if I had a more grasp on like the live and all the technology, I'd call this C-SPAN and make this C-SPAN people a part of the live. I cannot believe they just take live callers like that. These people come on C-SPAN and say anything. And I say that as if I'm not going to be people, because in my mind, I'm already planning, like, are they going to do this? Are they going to do this for the midterm elections in 2 years? Because I might have to be people myself and call in talking crazy. And I'm gonna take a little break and say thank you to everybody who's joined and also everybody who has subscribed. I'm a little new YouTuber here, so yes, I'm watching that subscriber count, get to that, that great monetization number in the sky. But I can tell I've got a few new subscribers, and thank you. Thank you so much to anybody who subscribed, anybody who liked the video, sent up engagements. You know, you could have been anywhere. You could have been watching this on any other channel. You chose to pop over here. I should have made me some coffee. Thank you, Bianca. And I know polls closed, but I hope everybody is not out. I hope everybody is home just watching the election. I don't think this is the night for to be out and to be a spectator or anything like that out. I think this is a good night to be in. To be in. I don't know if you live anywhere down here. We're prepping for a tropical storm. It might be category 1 now, but so got no choice but to be in. Let me see if I can get this all on one screen. There we go. Okay, I think I'm finding out that. Hold on, let me check. Let me do math. Let me do this one. I think I'm finding out that if it's reported in one of the dark colors as a win, then this gets updated. But if it's still in one of the light colors, at least for Axios reporting, everybody does their reporting a little different. But at least for this one, if it's in the light colors, it's not yet added to their totals. Because that's what the C-SPAN people are saying with theirs too. That seems to be the thing. So learning. And I also think, they got this up here because RFK is still on some of the ballots. But they could have put like a little yellow dot, because it was one man that called in the C-SPAN. He said he did vote for him, but I know he's not the only one. They could have put like, like some little yellow confetti or something like that in some of the places where he was on the ballot. You don't have to leave them all off like that. That's just me though. Magdalene Lamar. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But thank you very much for being here, and thank you for being like number 47. Oh, okay, we got some action. Utah ain't got. Oh, where was Utah? Utah ain't got but 6 electoral votes. They got a whole housewife show. Yeah. They got a whole housewife show ain't got but 6 electoral college votes. What did he say? Is that the number? Is that the number? Mm. Now the housewife show is kind of good. The only what I really care to is Mary. They could have gave her a show by herself. Um, Truth be told, let me see who else. Okay, they got a housewife show. They got a lot of votes. Make sure to send up the bubbles. New York, they got a lot of electoral votes. Yeah, Florida got a housewife show. They got a good amount of votes. And Georgia, Texas got some votes. Who else got a housewife show? So Utah, Salt Lake City, the only housewife show that got a little number electoral votes like that. Maryland got 10 electoral votes. They got a little housewife show. No matter what it looks like, God is in control. Promotions don't come from the east or the west. Promotions come from God. God put them up and God take them down. And that is right. Real talk with grace and mercy. At the end of the day, they got in. And that is it. It and that's just it. Am I very politically active? Absolutely. Do I get in the races? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I have a relationship with Christ. And that's above all else. God knew me first before I knew about Republican, Democrat, red, blue, green. I have a relationship with my creator. So it all is all. And today the election is over. I mean, and I keep giving my disclaimer. Yes, there'll be challenges. We'll do the final recounts. The military ballots have to come in, that. But at the end of the day, this is over. We can get back to the regular news. And I'm saying this as if, and look, I'm saying this as if 50% of my little bit of content wasn't election related anyway. So I'm sure gonna need to get it together, find something else to do. But local elections get the presidential year, and this year has been particularly interesting, but we do have local elections going on all around us. We do have local things going on. We do have laws that need to be passed, legislation that needs to happen. We have budget debates that come up in presidential election years, and this, that, and the third. So the presidential election does take up a little bandwidth. Okay. Now, PA just changed from light blue, I think, if I was watching this correctly, to light red. Yeah, they shouldn't. Depending on the areas they had left, they shouldn't have. Well, I guess they have to report it in as something. Now, another thing for for this group of senators that are up for this election cycle, there was a lot of senators who retired, and this was an opportunity to have They do something I can't stand that they do in politics. They call people young who are 50. Now, I'm not saying 50 is old by any means, but that's also not young. They are relatively younger than, I understand there are people in the 60s and 70s, so the 50s and the 40s is relatively younger, but they don't have to say young like that. That grinds me. But so there have been a lot of opportunities for a lot of relatively younger senators, who I guess, um, you would say that this will become the new voice in the Senate, the new generation of leaders in the Senate as they start cycling people out. So there's been quite a few of retirees and just not coming back on both sides. Okay, so Colorado, they're saying that they can project a win. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Who's Oliver? I see Kennedy. I knew who he was. Anybody know who the Oliver person was? It was that Green Party? Or no, Libertarian Party could have been. Could have been. Yeah, so um Senate, I think I would like to say every 6 years, and the seats kind of rotate. You usually don't get two Senate, each state has two Senate seats. You usually don't get those two in the same year. I don't know. Maybe each state is different. I don't know about that, but I've never seen that. I don't know. Um, so some of these Senate races are interesting to watch because it's a longer term of having these relatively younger senators come in, make their mark. Uh, the House, Sandra P. Gen Extra, have a wonderful night. I am not right behind you, but I'm gonna try. I at least want all the little states to get called. But Sandra P. Gen Extra, you have a wonderful night, and thank you for joining us. Okay. So see now. Okay, yeah. So these, if it's in the light blue or the light red, it's not getting absorbed in these totals yet. Because I was kind of wondering, I was kind of looking at that map going, what type of pathway to, but I get it. Those are because they're just reporting they're in the lead for whatever reason it is. They're not able to kind of definitively project that right now. And one thing we were talking about how I think that there's going to be more parties coming. Um, this one just flipped. There's going to be more parties coming. I also think there's going to be a wider range of conversations that happen around politics. I think more and more people are not doing, the same old identity politics and this, that, and other. People are looking, trying to see what are you trying to do? Okay, I like this. I don't like this. And that's a non starter for me. Or, okay, I like this. I don't necessarily like that, but I could live with it if, X, Y, and Z and these other things are happening. Da, 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 da. You know, People are starting to have fuller conversation surrounding exactly are we expecting out of government and elected officials and this, that, and the third. I think that's important. I think that's very important. And I think, we're talking about the big one. We're talking about the presidential election tonight, even though there's other races going on, elections going on at the same time. But just like charity starts at home, a lot of stuff starts with your local government. Your local government is your city council, county council, your state senators, your state congressmen, your governors, and then it starts to go up from there. Um, your school board superintendent, the I think here I know we vote for our coroners and stuff. We vote for everybody here. Um, your sheriff, if you have a vote for sheriff, some places vote for judges, some places judges get appointed. If you vote directly for your judge, then that your local government starts there. If your governor appoints the judges, then that's where you need to be voting. So like they say, charity and stuff like that starts at home. A lot of the political process, I think, and I'm not trying to push my agenda on nobody, but where you sleep at night tends to be where issues are closest to you. You take your money and spend it in your community. So you will see every crack and you will feel every pothole in the street that you drive every day up the road where you tend to spend your money. You have a unique and intimate connection to that locality. It starts with your local government. Ever wonder why when you go somewhere? Now, some places you go visit, the potholes outrageous. You don't notice as much though. You're in, out. You're spending your money there for a weekend, or a week or whatever. You're back home. But when you get back to wherever you stay at, you notice every single little thing that's wrong. Every sticker on the light pole, every little bit of graffiti that you like or don't like, all that stuff. Why? Because you sleep there, you spend money there, you are closely connected to that community. So a lot of stuff, I think it's gotten better, but you got to be doing your local elections and seeing what's going on. Um, I watch my city council every meeting. They ignorant as to be expected, but it does start at home, and run for something. Run for something. Don't be afraid to run for nothing, or go support somebody locally who's running for something. I find that, to me, I've always found that local elected officials, I don't want to say as a whole, but I've tend to find that local election officials tend to be a little more in the middle, or at least willing to listen. I'm talking about local, not governor local, but like your county and city, because they live there. They haven't gotten too big to where they live somewhere else. They still live in the community a lot of times. And so they have to see these people. And when you have to see people and look at their face every day, and your neighbors and stuff like that, tends to hold yourself accountable a little bit. When you talk about the federal government, yeah, they live in whatever state, wherever the senator comes from, but they spend a good bit of their time in the DMV. So after a while, they start to get a little bit removed. And some of that's just human nature. It's not to say that's the worst thing in the world, but it's okay to recognize that your elected officials are humans and they're susceptible to the same humanity and human things that you are. We elect them, we want them to do well, we want them to fight for our voice and stuff like that, but they are people. just like we are people. And that's not to say excuse them. That's to say to know when to vote them in and when to vote them out. I'm surprised that, nothing yet. Well, this don't surprise me. Yeah, this don't surprise me just because it don't. But I'm a little surprised that no tricklings yet. I forgot all about a little Alaska. Man, Hawaii, y'all ain't got before electoral votes. I could probably walk that whole island in a day. If y'all don't report them numbers, could have held y'all election in my house. And that is no shade to Hawaii. But come on now. Take it all night. Wait for them votes. This is say the population here. Who's Oliver? Let me look this person up. Time for me to go to bed because I'm starting to get ignorant. Oliver ain't none of my business. Okay. So Jill Stein. Okay, so some states will have RFK on the ballot as an independent. Chase Oliver's on the ballot for the Libertarian Party, and Jill Stein is on the ballot for the Green Party. The Green, and one thing about the Green Party, let me see. I don't know if they still do this, but when I was in like middle school, they would give us fake little election ballots so we could see like what it looked like, and we would cast our little school ballots, and these were clearly fake. Like this wasn't something that somebody could take and pretend like it was people votes. It was clearly, you could look at it and very clearly tell this is for kids. It was fake. But it would have all the candidates and stuff like that. And I remember even from when I was in middle school, Green Party gonna make sure they on the ballot. They don't care if they get one vote, two vote, red vote, blue vote. They gonna make sure they on the ballot. Again, back to the more parties. When we do start getting more parties, I'm gonna need y'all to have some Green Party spirit. Because the Green Party gonna make sure they get on that ballot. Talk to the Green Party and say, we know we don't have that many people. We want to make sure we get on the ballot. And they gonna steer you right. Libertarian Party as well. But I think Green Party might be a little bit more, I don't know, recognizable for me. Couldn't tell you nothing about Jill Stein or Steen, whichever one it is. NBC says 91 207. So if it's 91 207, I'm not understanding. I guess they're counting for California as the pathway to victory. Now look, they're saying that some of the most expensive Senate races, the combined total Texas had 206 million combined for both candidates. Ohio's like 427 million. Pennsylvania 287 million. Again, that's between two dominant parties. We had multiple parties. Not only would that have to be divvied up, when I say when we have multiple parties, multiple healthy parties, functioning parties, not just splitting the vote, but like, actual parties that have amassed a group of people, serious parties. One, that money has to be split up. And when the money has to start to be split up like that, these donors and political action committees and stuff like that, they're not going to put as much money, which in some ways is a little bit good. It's a little bit good. I understand, I'm not one of these people. We don't need all that money. Okay, well, campaign running commercials, and you do have to pay staffers, and you do have to print things, and yard signs are not cheap. You do need money to run any enterprise you're trying to run, but we know some of that money is not going to purely operational costs. And a lot of it is outside money. When you see big totals like that for Senate races, that's outside money, which means if it's originating from a political action committee that's not local, those are people who they don't sleep there. They don't spend money there other than the political action committee. They're not intimately aware of the things that are going on in that locality. So, as you can see, I think that it starts at home. The closer to home you are, that's just where it kind of starts politically. National elections are important. We know this. We have a whole system, but I think it does start a little bit local. And these people better come on with this vote now. Come on, send something in. Yeah, I just made the executive decision. We ain't gonna wait for Hawaii and Alaska because I just don't think that I just don't see that coming in any type of timely manner. But I would like to get these five. They're showing what do you call it? They just called Georgia for Trump. Okay, now we got action. So what got called here? Sis, which news station called it? Do you know? Trying to figure out who they're reporting from. Not trying to figure out if it's their decision desk or if they reporting from somebody else's decision desk. And Fox News used to have the best decision desk. They did. And they would come out and explain the stuff so that everybody can kind of know what was going on and see how the map was going. And I remember they would take the map and let's say they just called Georgia, but let's say it was like Georgia was they think they were about to call Georgia, but not quite. They zoom in on Georgia and then they would show each county as a dot, kind of like this, except for just the state and the county, and then they would tell you, okay, so this county has historically they had a good they had a real good setup. And one day I'm gonna try to have I'm gonna try to have that set up myself. Okay, I'm finding out that we are 30 minutes from Nevada polls closing. I think Virginia went blue a few times. Okay. Okay, so I'm finding a little bit more information about the red mirage, blue mirage, as it relates to what I think. This has flipped a few times. I know I'm not crazy. Somebody else tell me they've seen New Mexico flip a few times since we've been here. So, for example, PA, Pennsylvania, the rural precincts are reporting. Less people live there. So the polls close. It's kind of easier to get the information over. Not as many people. And those in Pennsylvania, in this example, tend to be red. However, some of those bigger precincts, the Pittsburgh areas, the Pennsylvania areas, have, even though they've historically been blue, that doesn't mean they're always going to be blue. So now that we've got all the smaller precincts where there's less votes reporting and those tend to be red, it shows red. As we are slowly getting through the bigger precincts that tend to be or have historically been blue, if they are blue this time as they have been historically, that's where you see some of that shift. So I'm learning a little bit more about how the projections, how the exit polls, all that stuff. If I was better with numbers, I'm good with numbers. It just depends. I like addition and multiplication, though. I don't too much do subtraction and division because I like income, not outgoing. Oh, C-SPAN got a little map up too. Well, this axial map is working, so I'm just going to stick to it. Everybody having a little election night watch party. If these little 5 states don't hurry up and get this stuff in, it don't make no sense. They're dragging it. Oh, I mean, at least they can report who's in the lead. Now, I understand that polls just close to them, time zone and stuff like that. But can you at least report the exit poll who's in the lead? That's what I'm waiting for. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna try to hang in there for these little 5 states to at least report who's in the lead. Then I'm gonna dip out. Now, I want to tell everybody, if you sent in a mail-in ballot, please remember, and I think all states do this, you can check that ballot was received in the coming days. You should have had like a serial number. Every time I've always done mail-in voting, I always had like a little serial number on it or something, and you can check that that's been received. Some states give you an opportunity, they call it to cure your ballot, and that is if, I don't know, they said it can be something as maybe you didn't fill in something right, or you put something in the wrong box, not a vote, but like, how if you're writing the lines and it says, oh, state address here, and you might think, oh, it goes on top, and really it was supposed to go on bottom. Little stuff like that, they'll give you opportunity to correct that before your ballot can be counted. And I know for some of these states where, like North Carolina is a good example, where they had mail-in voting happening and they had a storm and there was issues with that, you may be able to get a provisional ballot. Just check in with your state if you're worried of something like that happening. So just all that to say, just make sure you know what's going on in your state. Make sure you know your rights. And stay on top of your stuff. If they're saying that like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia are just now rolling in, PA might go, some on this map just changed. PA might go blue. Okay. Now I understand that this is just well, I guess they are waiting on this. I don't know. Now I understand that this is just a projection based on a lot of, not based on for nothing. Usually we can go with the projection. The projection tends to be right. But it would seem to me that if Trump is at 210 projected and Harris is at 112 projected, just the pathway to victory is shrinking rapidly. But we are waiting on some, a few, let's say heavy hitters, but the California number, and then we are waiting on some of these places that haven't haven't been shored up yet. But the path to victory seems to be, he has 210, he needs 270. So, BJ Jess, thank you for joining us. We are happy to have you. Now, how long we gonna be? I just told everybody I'm trying to wait till these one at least get at least report who's in the lead, report something. Woo-hoo. I tell you. Yeah, Jesus take the wheel. That's that's all you can do. And ultimately what I was working for a candidate one time, and we were coming up with messaging that we want to put on stuff, and one of the messages, it's that save the this, save that. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's politics. Ultimately, the country is gonna be the country. Your neighborhood gonna be your neighborhood. I promise. I promise. Me personally, I tend to kind of be a little bit realistic. The president gets in. There has not been one president where I can say everything they did was bad. They never did anything good. Or everything they did was good and they never did anything bad. It's just people. And I know it doesn't seem like that when we're going through the motions of the political ads and the this and the that, but it's gonna be okay. What Kendrick? We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. And it's gonna be some good stuff, some bad stuff. It's just how it happens. And I do stand by that. There's never even the ones I didn't vote for. And now, I'm getting long in the tooth. I'm racking up voting. I'm racking up voting for presidents. Even the ones I didn't vote for. It was never, they didn't do not one good thing. It was something good they did. It was some good they did. It was fine. So these getting called. Yeah, these are getting called. Now, I will say this about campaigning, and I've said this on another video before. Trump is good at campaigning. Trump and that little girl in New York that did that upset, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, people think I'm crazy when I say this. They ran the same campaign. The same way she went door to door and was speaking to people. She went door to door, knocking on the door, talking to people. That man who had been in there forever, they probably was just voting on name recognition. But she came, she talked to people. When most likely when they went to the polls, for better or for worse, they remembered this was the one who came and knocked on the door. When Trump campaigned, especially that first time, the 2016, he went everywhere. He went everywhere, talking to people who felt like, and feelings do matter, they're still voters, people who felt like the Politburo, so to speak, of Washington had left them behind. And here was somebody running for president coming to their neighborhood to speak to them. So he is an amazing campaigner, and he's a showman. So he want to put on the big show. He want to do all the things, lights, camera, action. That makes for good campaigning. Now people might say, well, that's all he doing is campaigning. Da, 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 da. There is no rule that says someone has to be an informed voter. There is no rule that says someone has to vote on policy. Somebody can simply vote because this is the person that took time out to put on a campaign show for me. Everybody who votes is not voting for the same reasons. Everybody who votes the same way you vote ain't voting that same way for the same reason you vote them. So I will take this moment to acknowledge campaign strategies, and then getting out there does pay off. I mentioned before Hillary Clinton for that 2016 election. I knew she wasn't gonna win. This man is having rallies that people are tailgating outside of, and she was not generating that level of excitement. Now this one, one could say, and we don't, again, I'm not saying who's gonna win or lose right now, because we still don't know, even though just the path to victory. But then it's a numbers game. It is what it is. So we don't know who's gonna win yet. In terms of excitement, you could say that, the Harris campaign seemed to have a lot more excitement, on its face than the Trump campaign. I would say maybe, yeah. The one criticism I always had of Kamala Harris's campaign is that she should have been doing interviews more earlier on. I understand she came late, but she still should have been doing more interviews. And I get that she don't gotta go on MSNBC. Fine. Then there are hundreds, if not thousands, of independent YouTubers and podcasters who operate like news stations, who have a large following. Go to their platform and give an interview or something there. She, to me, should have been doing more interviews. Y'all are gonna say, why? I feel like that I'm used to candidates doing Sunday news shows and interviews and stuff like that. That's what I'm used to. And so that's what I want to see from both of them. I just think she should have been doing more interviews. Now, do I think that is necessarily what's going to be the determining factor? Not necessarily, but you got somebody who will go talk to anybody. I mean, he just go talk. He don't care. He don't care where you tell him he's gonna go talk to. He gonna go talk, and he gonna make a scene, and he gonna get on the news. So this is what you're competing against. You need to do more interviews. And again, there is still apparently a path to victory. So I'm not saying that to say who gonna win, who gonna not win. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm just from somebody who runs campaigns. I'm just looking at their campaigns and pointing out some things. Okay, so they are reporting stuff out of California. So I'm watching C-SPAN as I have this open, and the U.S. House race for the 27th district in California, it looks like they're reporting numbers. So what are the rest of the numbers at? Let me see something. Cause I don't care. I don't care what time zone y'all are. We'll be here all night. Mm-mm. It's 2 hours. Well, I would like to think. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post this Axios link on my community tab, so that if anybody wants to pull it up, on their device and follow it, you can. That way you'll have it as well. I just think it's just real kind of fun. It's real neat. But I want to thank everybody who joined me for my little election night watch party. I had so much fun. Thank y'all for listening to me. Let me run my mouth and say any type of thing. Um, I'm probably not. I'm probably gonna wake up in the morning and get the news of who they said won, because the way sleep, shower sleep is hitting me. But I will leave everybody with this. You have a relation. If you are somebody who claims that you have a relationship with Christ, that's what you got. That's what you do. Now, should you be a concerned citizen? Should you operate in good stewardship over the world that Christ has given you to live on? And should you, care for your community, things like that? Yes. But at the end of the day, these elected officials are just people, and they are elected in, they could be elected out. You know, laws are passed, laws could be unpassed. It is what it is. But I want to thank everybody for joining me for my election watch party. I had so much fun. I hope you guys had fun too. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please come back to my channel for more content. This election's over. We're going to be on to bigger and better and newer. Is newer word? Sure. We're going to be on the bigger and better and newer things. And thanks so much. Thank you guys so much. And I'm going to end. Everybody have a good night.